Hi everyone. Tempting to do this on my iPad in iMovie because my Mac crapped itself. Oh well, never mind. Okay, what have I done here? I have put down the light turquoise from the last painting session, the gum blossom, and I just put in a rough pencil sketch, and I'm going over that with the Lyra chubby water soluble graphite, and I'm dipping that in the bucket, and I like using it that way because you don't get an even line. It starts off really black and dark and then it peters out to just a plain graphite once the water works itself out. I'm going over it with a brush. I want to get that really dark area under the tree line. You'll see the reference photo off to the right there. But I think just establishing that really dark is going to help me with the rest of the painting. I like this composition. I like the angles where they intersect each other. I think it's really interesting. The tree is off to one side and that avoids that, oh my God, it's right in the middle of a page kind of thing. These are just brown, different brown watercolour pencils. I thought that would help, but not really. So, just going to go over it. There you go, done. No big deal. And I'm really not sure where I'm going to go, so I decided to start with this Australian sap green and a bit of gesso to chuck that on the palette. Haven't even washed my palette from the last painting session, but no biggie. And this lighter green that I've put down is an Australian yellow green, and most of these paints are Derivan Matisse flow paints, which I love using in my art journal and in my artwork. My happy colour is the yellow mid, and I think that those three colours work really well together. You can see I'm matching that colour, that really strange light green colour, to that foreground colour. And I've decided I'm going to chuck in some burnt umber as well to see if I can grab some of that darker shadow around the trunk, and here you can see me a little bit better mixing those colours together. I really am a messy palette person. Oh, that colour is the Atelier Interactive Red Gold, very close to Australian Sienna, and it's just a must for me. I use it pretty much in every single painting, landscape painting that I use, or still life. I think it's a delicious colour. Here I'm just really, I could see myself tightening up, so I've changed the way I'm holding the brush, doing this little twirly motion, and I thought, you know what, I've got heaps of that colour. I'm going to pop it into where the blossoms are going, and then I'm going to forget about it. So here I'm going back in with a darker sap green. I think I mixed the burnt umber in with the sap green, and I'm doing this twirly motion again, and I'm looking at it going, it looks pretty nifty because it kind of looks like grass. This is just a number 10 flat brush, nothing special really. You buy it in a pack and they are cheap as chips and they do the job. I'm not an exact artist. I know people pay a lot of money and spend a lot of money and they love using the more expensive brushes. I'm not at that point in my practice at the moment. I'm happy just using these ones. They're affordable and I don't feel obliged to produce masterpieces with them. I've put down the dark. See there, I nearly ruined my dress by dropping the paintbrush. Anyway, I've mixed up that lighter green and I'm putting it over the sap green colour in that foreground area, trying to get a little bit of interest in and using the reference photo to help me along. Now I'm working in that big chunk of dark and highlighted green, and I'm using the sap green as kind of a mid-tone to chuck it all down because there's a lot of green in there. And I know some people who do not like working with a lot of green, but you know, I don't mind actually. I actually quite like it. Green's one of my favourite colours, and so I just think, yep, let's see how many greens I can chuck in the background there. And keeping in mind, of course, that there will be a lot of kind of a vermilion colour thrown on top of that. So I'm not really worried about whether or not you can see all the trees and the leaves. That's not the point. So here you see me again changing the way I hold my brush, because I'm going, yep, too tight. Just mix it up. I get a different emotion in the way that the paint goes down, and I found that if I just change the way I hold the brush and then I start to twirl it round, tap it, smear it, whatever, things happen that I like, and I like it. And I'm starting, you know, it's taken me a couple of years, but I'm starting to really enjoy the way I paint landscapes and still lifes. So this is really where I start to, you can see me, I'm in my happy place now. I'm going, yeah, what do I do now? Do I whack more green on it? Do I pop it somewhere else? So I've put that behind the tree. Now I'm going to pop these incredible highlights in that foreground area, which will, I think, balance that really strong vermilion colour that's going to go in the tree blossoms at a later date. So mixing, no big deal. I'm just trying to get a variety of greens in, and then, you know, of course, wonder if I'm going dark enough. So I grab the Atelier Free Flow Payne's Grey and try to mix a darker green, which, you know, really doesn't work. All I end up having is a Payne's Grey colour. So I just chuck that in there. And I do put a lot of that near the trunk, which is going to be really quite dark. So I'm wondering what else to do now, because I've pretty much got everything in there, and I decide to, yeah, that's right, I haven't done the trunk. Trunks are interesting. Lots of branches in these trees, but I have to try and get some kind of trunkiness, branchiness. So I've mixed up the burnt umber, the white, and whatever was left on my brush, and I am pretty much twirling it. This is a flat brush. I'm twirling it as I'm going up and down and around. So what I'm getting is a really good combination of darks and lights on the one stroke. I learned that from my craft. No, what are they called? Anyway, never mind. I'll think of it later. It's a little trick I picked up from other people, other crafters. So I think that's about it. Thinking pencil, nah, not good enough. Okay, I think that's it. I hope you enjoyed this and how my brain works, and I'll catch you next time.